In one word, how would you describe your high-tech high experience?
Loud.
Emotional.
Intense.
Depressing.
Extreme.
Immature.
I'd still say weird. It's been a weird experience. Not a bad.
Wildly uncomfortable.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
I mean, I would say what makes high-tech high unique is kind of this freedom that starts at the teacher and teacher design level. They're kind of asking us to rethink what education might look like so that the educational or that learning experience for the students feels like one that's kind of equitable, meaningful, and impactful for all students. I always think of it as this idea of like learning that matters and learning for everyone. And so that kind of learning isn't necessarily happening in schools outside of our context. But here there's a lot more freedom to kind of be close to the learning and have a feel for it in such a way that you design something that you know works for every single kid in your class.
What do I like? Kind of what I mentioned earlier, the autonomy to just try different stuff out. Yeah, and I feel like we do good work in general. Like we actually make cool things and kids seem happy here, I would say.
It was pretty easy. I went to high-tech middle, so most of my friends also went to high-tech high with me. And I also knew my humanities teacher since I was in 3rd grade. He had both of my older brothers, so it was pretty easy.
My transition was pretty good. Just a lot of ambitions. I was really excited to start, especially at high-tech high. Being in the high-tech system for so long and having 5 or 4 siblings go to the exact same high school as you were going to made me really excited because I heard about their experiences and I almost wanted to relive it, like going to different areas, like going to visit different cities or just going on a lot of fun, exciting field trips or doing mainly cool projects because of the project-based learning. I was really excited for that. So I think it was a good transition.
Right. So being that I went from middle media arts to high-tech high, it was really easy. A lot of people that I knew ended up coming here, and so the transition was pretty easy because again, I already had some friends, and the curriculum was very similar. Like it felt like a lot of the work flowed in pretty decently, although there were some outliers because I didn't go to high-tech middle, I went to high-tech middle media arts, which they're technically the same thing, but they do have a slightly different curriculum basis. I believe media arts is slightly more focused on trade-based learning. So like we had makers classes, we had a lot of hands-on art classes, we had multimedia, which we ended up doing again in 9th grade. So it was a bit of an awkward transition, but like other than that, I mean, everything went very smoothly compared to just going from one middle school to a completely unaffiliated high school.
Well, I don't know, sort of, you know, I'm not crazy. I don't know, sit at home and like...
I think it impacted me the most by building habits, the main thing being work ethic. I learned a lot about being or staying on task and staying away from procrastinating my work. Having Mr. Geary as a 9th grade teacher definitely helped a lot. He was very much someone who was very strict about deadlines and completing and work completion and attention to detail. So I think that was the main thing that started my very strict work ethic, just to continue building habits and staying away from procrastination.
From freshman year, the biggest thing that ended up happening to me was really just I found a different footing, because a lot of the friends that I came over from middle school to, I started talking to them less, and I met new people and I made new friends and whatnot, which was interesting. It was I was definitely expecting to stay more within my comfort zone when it came to friendships in high school. So coming here, meeting completely different people, and for all intents and purposes ditching a lot of the people I originally knew, definitely changed some things up for me. That, as well as the projects, were significantly better than in middle school. I distinctly remember certain multimedia projects that were just light years ahead of the middle school multimedia projects, mainly because of teachers, but also like just the quality of the project itself. It seemed like things were a lot more thought out, which I can attribute to.
I guess you could say academically. I know the transition from ninth grade, I didn't really do great, and then the transition to that and the motivation that I had made me do better academically. Emotionally, it was good, I guess. There was a lot of twists and turns, but overall, I think it was good, so yeah.
Sophomore year was honestly a great and fun time, other than that pandemic and the more amount of fun I had after that, honestly, until it got serious. Sophomore year was honestly a great time. That's when everybody was out of freshman and we had a great connection with each other, and we were getting to know each other more and more. And then Corona hit, and you know, everybody acting like they didn't know each other. So, but I say it was really, really fun.
At first it was exciting because obviously we're like, oh my gosh, another week of spring break. But going into it, it was very weird because it didn't even feel like school. Like you didn't even have to pay attention or anything. So transitioning into it was just very new experience.
Online learning for me was really great, I think, because I was able to grow a lot and like mature, but as well, like I think it kind of sucked because I wasn't able to like build new friendships, and like junior year is such like a moment where you get to meet these new people that you probably haven't really met before, and so I feel like I kind of missed out on that. But as well, like I felt like I grew a lot and I was able to like focus in school, and like my grades were going well, except for that part where I was just like not really social.
Honestly, online learning, it wasn't that bad for me, I think, because academically I had like a lot of time to do my work and I felt very motivated to do it, I guess. But even though my academics were doing great, I think it lacked that social connection that you usually get when you're at school. So, yeah.
It honestly kind of sucked because I was used to like waking up late and like just rolling from bed into like Zoom, and then coming back to school, like having to wake up early and get into the routine of coming to school. It was a little tough and I'm still getting used to it. Like I'm still kind of late to school every day, but that's kind of how it's been going. And it was a little hard at first to like kind of start talking to people again, but now I feel like I'm more social.
Because of COVID, it definitely made me want to be more social and get to know more people. So I think being a senior now, especially because it's our last year and we didn't really get to talk to each other in the whole year, that impacted me to, you know, try to make more friends and meet more people. Senior year has impacted me. I think
Honestly, I don't feel like it really has impacted me, although for the fact that I am more social and like I've talked to other people who I usually don't really talk to in previous years. But I think that's really how I feel like senior year has impacted me.
I would definitely say we've grown a lot more. We've all became somewhat mature, but when we have to take things seriously, we take things seriously. And when we don't, we don't. But comparing ourselves from freshman year to senior year, we've grown a lot.
So HTH High Senior Class of 2022, we're definitely crazy. Like, we're crazy, we're a mess. But that's because we've persevered through a lot. Like, we've gone through the whole pandemic in our sophomore year and our full junior year, which are like the two most like impactful years in high school. So we've definitely gone through a lot, and so yeah, that's us. And how we compare to other seniors from like traditional schools and all that, like we're definitely more of a community.
I love you guys, but there's a lack of maturity in this class for sure. Like every time I walk in, people do crazy stuff. I mean, sometimes I'm included in that list, but the previous like HTH High classes, I've seen way more maturity, so I feel like it's kind of lacking this year. That's really the big takeaway.
The class of 2022, I think it's like a group of people that think they're mature, but they're so childish at times. Like, we can take stuff seriously when it's time to take stuff serious, but we're also childish, like, which there's nothing wrong, but it's just like we act more like little kids than adults at certain times, which I can tell like the teachers can definitely agree with. But I mean, the class of 2022 is not that bad.
So we've had some time to think about this question in class, and when I first heard this question, I thought about funny, goofy, just like, you know, different personalities, diverse. I mean, I thought about all different types of words, but I think, as cheesy as this may sound, I think one word to describe our grade in our class of 2022 is probably family, because if you think about it, there's so many different of us, so many different personalities, so many different people from different backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, economic backgrounds, just different backgrounds in general. And even though like sometimes we don't get along with one another, like family does, at the end of the day we still come together, and we still, like, if we need to get something done, we'll get it done.
I think a clearly laid out plan for the various things that come up at this school throughout the year, especially for new teachers, would be really helpful. And I'm talking about things like intersession, end-session, advisory, other stuff I'm probably forgetting. There's just like all the stuff at this school that doesn't happen elsewhere, and I don't necessarily know if that's always communicated best, and it could definitely be communicated better. Yeah, I'll go with that.
I mean, I hope that we can continue having really cool projects, because I have a cousin that goes here, so I think it would be cool to come back and look at new projects and see how everything's changed, obviously, with teachers and stuff like that. But yeah, I just want there to continue being really project-based learning and creating cool projects.
In the future, I would like to see HTH High as more like artsy, because I feel like they don't have a lot of like music programs where people can like really join and kind of be able to grow in the music area. I would have loved if HTH High had more of the curriculum like that. But as well, I think I would like to see like more projects where you do more arts, because that's kind of like 12th grade was only more like artsy, and previous years it was more like building stuff, but not really like related to art as much, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, that's kind of what I think, or I think High Tech High should improve.
Something that I would miss is probably my friends and my high school experience, because I think it was fun to be here, even though all I did was play around with all my friends.
Something I'm gonna miss the most about this school is the connections you have, not only with students, but with like teachers and even the staff members. And that's something that's not, I'd say, common for like a regular high school, but like the togetherness and like the feeling of being able to talk to any teacher or like literally any staff member at any point about like anything you have that's bothering you.
So I think the biggest thing I'll miss at High Tech High is definitely the project-based learning and the learning style we have at High Tech High, because it's all I've ever known, because I've been here since kindergarten to now, and I'll definitely miss that. Also the resources that I have here, I feel like I wouldn't get that anywhere else. And then the last thing is the community. Like the biggest thing here is the fact that all of us know each other and that we are such a big community that like cares about each other. We're a social and emotional school, so we definitely care for each other, and I really enjoy that.
Hello. I will miss you more than you could possibly know. I like you. I love you. Do your goodness. Goodbye.
Am I right?
Hello.